Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I want to take a look back, kind of like a throwback to season 4, episode 14, when Martell was promoting his Inest wine and he totally triggered his Uncle Sam. He needed melody in that moment for sure. Marsau even called it out in his confessional. And then we have to talk about Latisha's self-betrayal when she told herself an excuse for Marsau going to Africa alone, and Dr. Francis did not let her get away with that excuse that she told herself to comfort herself. So now before we get into these two storylines, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. Those like and dislike buttons, they kind of stimulate the video, meaning that YouTube will push this video out to more people who enjoy discussing Love and Marriage Huntsville. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you as one of the showstoppers. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed for criticism. Okay, so we are going to get into this first storyline in this episode where the gentleman went to Atlanta. Remember when they went to Atlanta and Martell rented out the mansion? Somehow Melnica rounded up the girls like Della Reese and Harlem Nights, and they were supposed to be doing like a focal study where they asked the women about different scenarios where they would grab some Inest wine, tried to give some selling points. Big Lou got a little raunchy about, popping the cork and then spreading, what. So also they had kind of like a toasting where he invited his Uncle Sam, who is his grandmother Inest's own son, and his lovely wife. They were dressed to the nines. They drove to Atlanta and they attended this party at this mansion in Atlanta. And Martell gives this speech that totally triggers Uncle Sam. So I want to go ahead and get into the soundbite, and then I'll come back with my commentary. There were times when Martell and Uncle Sam walked off, and I'm guessing Uncle Sam was never like properly mic'd. And there must have been times where Martell perhaps disabled his mic because they had to put the graphics on the bottom, the closed caption, to let you know what they were saying. They were definitely cursing at each other. And Martell was telling the camera crew to not come near where they were. So that's going to be a part of this entire soundbite. And you're going to hear the rest of the fellas, Maurice, Marsau, Lou, and Chris Fletcher. They're going to be discussing Uncle Sam getting upset. So I'm going to go ahead and play the soundbite, and here we go.
Coming out tonight, so I tell I'm not a speaker or anything like that. I'm a little tipsy because it's wine 13.5. But no, thank you guys for coming out to support Inest Wine. So listen, I got my guys over here, Marsau, Maurice, Big Lou. I guess you guys come over to the front. Yeah, come on over here, Big Lou. Oh, Chris Fred, come on over here too. So, I can't even get it out. You got it, dog. It's Inest. I haven't seen Martell like this before. I wonder if it's the wine, if it's the situation, the occasion. Maybe it's because it's his first time not doing it with his ex-partner. Ladies and gentlemen, Melody's Hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, Melody Hope.
I actually have a skincare product line that I'm launching this month. I'm very excited about that. I've been working on that for a while.
Shade to Melody Hope in appreciation and recognition of your unselfish time and service. So I named this wine after my grandmother. Each one of us are business owners. And I would say, for real, I think that we've worn enough people's. We've drank enough other people. We've eaten and we drive Other people. Hey, listen, I think collectively, a lot of us are bosses in here, and I feel that we got to continue to own it. So tonight really isn't about just Inest Wine. I think it's about us owning. So I'm just excited that I own. So toast to ownership. Ownership. Hey, how was it? We good. Let's drink to this. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Lovely turnout. Lovely turnout.
People everywhere.
Yep, awesome.
It's awesome.
And we did.
We did.
What's up?
So it was a process.
Yeah.
And we crossed the finish line of the house. Oh, drink to that.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It really is.
I know. Do you think it's too messed up?
That's my mother, man.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool. I'm ready to go.
What's up, man?
How you feeling? Good. Hey, you tasted this? Yeah, I tasted it. What's wrong? I mean, it's my mother. You didn't even acknowledge her? On national TV, do not do that. Don't ever do that on national TV. You are regretting what you know. You good. I said you good, man. Look. That's my mother, man. And that's the best you ever seen, man. I'm saying, I'm finna go, bro. I'm good. I'm just saying. He's good, man. I know. Good. Stop. You good. Where's the respect? I'm serious. Where's the respect? Did you just say respect? I'm saying, hold on. Man, I'm ready to go, bro. Serious. You know what we gotta do though? We gotta get a picture in front of this side. Oh yeah, all four. For sure. Where Marty at? Hey, where Martell at? That's the best. Would you take us to get a picture or not? Just wanted to know if you guys noticed that how mad Martell's uncle got. What was he about? Was it about his grandma? I think it was. It had more to do with his uncle, so it's from his mom. Oh, he said he's leaving. I don't know if I saw Sam. His uncle left. Like, Martell's trying to do the best he can, though. Right. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't have all the words when you're speaking to people, you know, it's not like he probably prepared the speech or whatever. He's probably speaking from the heart. You got her name on. That's the best. I think that with the name Inest, and you have Inest child in, right? Then I think that he would have liked to at least been welcomed up. You know what? That actually probably should have been. And then the truth is, like, this is the first go round, and it's an introduction. Hear what I'm saying? It's the introduction, right? So it can get better. What is that saying? It's hard to unhurt feelings. You get one go at it. You get one shot at that first impression. That's true. That's true. But think about this. Everybody else is here enjoying, but the two people that Inest means the most to in the room are having a disagreement. Yeah. But the crazy part about it, bro, is all the fact of Martell named the wine after his grandma. Right. Sam felt like he didn't express enough about her. To me, you're still arguing for the same points. It was enough for him to name the wine and say, hey, look, this is an honor. This dude didn't even punish my mother. That's my mother.
Okay, so a lot in that soundbite. It was over 6 minutes. between the fellas discussing what happened between Martell and Uncle Sam, and Martell definitely not wanting cameras to capture he and Uncle Sam going back and forth. Now, first of all, it's pretty clear that Martell just did some footwork in his businesses with Melody when they were married. Melody was definitely the voice of their businesses. If they were still married and Melody attended this soft opening for Inest Wine, he would have asked her to give the toast, the speech, and she would have said, I want to thank you all for coming to this event. Some of you traveled out of state just to be here. We want to thank Melnika for planning such a lovely event. We want to acknowledge our family, Uncle Sam and his lovely wife, for being here tonight. And most of all, we want to acknowledge Miss Inest, Martell's grandmother, who is the inspiration behind this new wine. And it is our hope that her legacy is honored from here on forth through this wine. And we hope that lots of families to come are entertained and pleased with this new wine. Melody would have nailed it, okay? And so Martell needed her, and Marsau even acknowledged, this is his first time having to make a speech without Melody. And, it was like a sinking ship. Even more, Martell was buzzing. He had a little buzz, and he was cursing, and he did not acknowledge his grandmother. And that really triggered Uncle Sam. He was speaking to his wife. He said, this mofo ain't ish, to his wife, and he was ready to go, but not before confronting Martell. Now, some people may say, well, Martell was tipsy, so that's why he couldn't give a proper speech. But I say to that, if you are the owner of this wine, and this is your soft opening, and you intended on making a speech, then maybe you should have cut back on your wine consumption until you made your speech. This is a part of what's called being an entrepreneur. You are the face and voice of this product. So maybe pull back on the wine until you give your speech so you can acknowledge your grandmother who is dearly departed. So Uncle Sam is very hurt, and Martell initially goes outside with Melnika, and she's congratulating him. You did it, man. You did it. We did a good job. And then she goes back into the mansion. Uncle Sam comes out, and he's like, what's up, Unc? Have you tried this? It tastes good. And he was like, yeah, I've had some. And Martell extended his hand so they could give each other dap, and Uncle Sam left him hanging. And Martell's like, what's wrong? And Uncle Sam is like, that's my mother, man. And then instantly Martell walks close to him, whispers into his ear, don't do that on national TV. You never do that on national TV. And Uncle Sam, he gets more pissed, but he's like, okay, I'm going to give him what he wants. I'm going to walk away. He's like, okay, you do you. So then Martell, his pride kicks in even more because first, see, he shut down Uncle Sam because he did not want to get hold on his TV show. So when he said, that's my mother, man, Martell shut it down instantly. So that lets me know that this is the uncle that checks Martell. He does not make excuses for Martell like Marlene does. He gives it to Martell straight, no chaser. I would not be surprised if they have had conversations about Melody and their children, and Uncle Sam told him, man, you wrong. You had a lovely wife, beautiful children. You messed up. I'm not surprised if that's how Uncle Sam plates whatever he needs to feed Martell. He gives it to him straight up. And so Martell didn't want that. He didn't want the cameras to capture that. He did not want to be embarrassed. So he told him almost like he's a producer, like, oh, no, you don't do that on national TV. Yeah, you do. So then Uncle Sam tries to walk away, and then Martell doesn't want him walking away from him. And he's like, come on, man, come on. And he starts, what the F, and then that triggers Uncle Sam even more. He's like, that's my mother. You can't acknowledge her any better. And then the cameras are trying to follow them. Martell says, don't come here. And then they're going back and forth as Uncle Sam grabs his wife, walks her to their SUV, and he is trying to leave. It's almost like Martell has to have the last say of some sort, but it sounds like you really don't want to go against Uncle Sam. This is not what you want. So then we see the fellas, they are inside the house. Now, Chris Fletcher, he says to them, I don't know if any of you all noticed how mad Uncle Sam was. And, the guys were like, really? They didn't really peep it. So Chris Fletcher, Nell shaded him saying he doesn't say much during their therapy session. But, quiet people are oftentimes observant. So that makes sense. And Chris, he really picked up on Uncle Sam's energy. I'm sure his body language gave don't F with me right now. I'm pissed. And Chris Fletcher was sensitive to that. Maurice was making excuses for Martell. He was saying, he's starting off this product. It's new, sometimes, because what's interesting is Maurice knew exactly what must have bothered Uncle Sam. Because he said, everybody can't think of the words to say during their speech. So you knew that the speech sucked and you figured it out that was probably what upset Uncle Sam. Big Lou was on Maurice's side. He felt like, give him a break. People always love to make excuses for Martell. And this is the one scene where Chris Fletcher said, but, that first impression is everything. Because perhaps Uncle Sam is thinking he just started this wine so he can get more females, or it's going to be like that MC Hammer video, pumps and a bump, because that's what this episode reminded me of. Like all they needed was MC Hammer and those swimming trunks. They were like, it wasn't even a swimming trunk. It was almost like a G-string and, poolside, and then start playing pumps and a bump and make it a music video. So Chris Fletcher was sensitive to Uncle Sam, but Maurice and Lou, they were on Martell's side. And Marsau, he was pretty much giving tidbits in the conversation. He was like, well, that's his uncle. Oh, so that's his mother. Like it seemed like Marsau, it clicked for him. He got it, but he didn't really express his opinion because I guess it would have been like anti-Martell. But definitely, if he had Melody would have given a speech of all speeches. Uncle Sam would have been pleased. They would have given each other dap. Perhaps Uncle Sam would have gotten a little emotional. It would have been a wonderful night. But he did not have Melody to help him out. And so, it was a shit show. All right, so let's move on to Tisha's therapy session. And she and Dr. Francis, they're going to be talking about some homework that he gave her. And then Latisha is just going to mention, Marsau went to Africa by himself. And Dr. Francis is like, what? And so we have to play this conversation and talk about it. I've always had like my conspiracy theory about this quote unquote Africa trip. I always felt like Africa was like a code name for somebody, but that's just my opinion. So let's go ahead and play this soundbite and I will come back with my commentary.
Realize like what I was going through. And maybe he was going through something himself as well, because last time we was here, I think we didn't mention the whole depression thing that he was going through. He took like a vacation to Africa by himself.
Oh, you did?
He did, yeah.
How come he didn't take you?
Oh, because I had to take care of things at home. I have 3 kids and they're in school, and I had to like set up a nanny, a babysitter, like dog care, like it's a whole thing.
Where did he go?
Tanzania.
Oh, Tanzania.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, I needed to get my mental self together, and so I think that helped.
So he went to Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
He needed to take time away from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you were good with that.
I wasn't good with it at first. No.
All right.
I was like, like, I was upset about. I was like, this is supposed to be like, we're supposed to take a family trip to Africa. We've talked about going with the kids. Okay. So it's like, why would you want to go there without us? When we planned on going there together as a unit, he was like, Tisha, I really need this time to myself. He just started explaining to me why he needed the time to himself. And I was like, you know what? Okay. It's just okay. Yeah. Because I know he's a last minute person like that.
Let me tell you something about last minute.
Okay.
Last minute behavior is not the same as last minute thinking.
Okay.
So if he says, I'm going to Tanzania, it's not like I'm going down to the grocery store.
Right.
He might have dropped it on you last minute, but he had to be thinking about Tanzania for a while. So in his head, it ain't last minute. In your communication, though, it is. Have you thought about, wait a minute, he might be telling me this thing last minute, but in order to go to Tanzania, he had to be thinking about that. Tisha.
I told him, listen, you can't give me stuff last minute. And he's like, I just wasn't thinking. I'm going to do better.
There is somewhat of a dependency issue going on here.
With me and Marsau?
Well, I don't know if you see it or not.
I don't.
You don't. The dependency is, I know that I can just drop something into this relationship and Tisha will do it. So he can depend on you, which frees himself from having to take that part of the responsibility. And the more you do it, the more he is free not to do his part because he knows that you're going to do it.
Yeah. I recognize that as well, and I've been trying to get him to change that, but only time was him.
You said that.
No, I was saying it to you. I didn't say it to him.
I know. You said that. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
But Tisha, only time will tell. The question is how much time, but what will it cost you to wait an unknown, undefined set of time? Confrontation. It is the key to growth and development.
Is it? I hate confrontation.
You hate confrontation?
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that another time.
Okay.
But listen, I got this crazy idea in my head. Me and my wife, we've been doing marriage retreats. And I got this crazy idea that I would like for you and your husband and some of your friends to come on a retreat with us.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in how Latisha reconciled Marsau going to Africa by himself. She literally just took him off the hook for it. She totally acquitted him of all charges. I guess the glove, it didn't fit, honey, so she had to acquit. And rest in peace to the attorney. Oh my gosh, I have to think about it right now. I'm going to Google who said that if it don't fit, you must acquit. OJ's lawyer. Johnny Cochran, was that his name? OJ's lawyer. I think that was, yes, Johnny Cochran. Rest in peace to him. I had to look it up on my phone. So that glove didn't fit, and Latisha totally acquitted Marsau. She said that, she knows that he is a last minute person, and she could not have just up and went to Africa with her children because she would have to get a babysitter, a dog sitter. But I know that when y'all filmed the season 6 reunion, Wanda said it herself on live that she was keeping the kids. So that would have been nothing to ask your mother to babysit the kids. I don't know if she's a dog person. Perhaps she doesn't keep the dog. But then, you would just call your local pet hotel. Bada bing, bada boom. This is Africa. And let me say, Africa is not a last minute trip. If your church has ever gone to Africa, usually they inform you like a couple years in advance, obviously with the cost. So like you can pay in installments. But in the weeks, months leading up to going to Africa, you have to get shots. You have to physically prepare to go there. And I just cannot see him getting all of that taken care of and her not realizing that he is about to leave and go to a foreign country, and it's Africa of all places. So that's why, like, I was never fully convinced that he went there. I always wondered if Africa was like a code name for somewhere else or someone else, just allegedly and in my opinion. But it's sad to watch this grown, adult, educated woman make excuses for her husband. And if deep down, if I'm right that Africa was code for something else and she knows it too, if she's betraying herself by ignoring that intuition, that is really sad. When we make excuses for people who disrespect us or lie to us or cheat, you are betraying yourself. That is self-betrayal. When you do not defend yourself, and when you are getting bullied and you know it's wrong and you don't at least go to someone in an authoritative position to help, let alone defend yourself verbally, like that is self-betrayal. And I felt like in this scene, we're witnessing self-betrayal. And Dr. Francis tried to get her to see, and it was like she wasn't getting it or she was refusing to get it. And I think that it was a little bit of both, mostly 55% refusing to get it and 45% she didn't quite get it all. When he said that there was like a dependency, and she was like, between me and Marsau? Well, yeah, Tisha, who else are y'all talking about? And Dr. Francis said, Marsau can depend on the fact that if something comes up that he did that you don't like, he can just kind of throw something at you and, you're going to do your magic and totally say that it's fine. But a trip to Africa or when folks go to Israel, that is not a last minute trip. But that is what she told herself to make excuses for what he did. And then she brought up him being depressed as an excuse as well. But like, when you're depressed, do you just up and book a vacation? And then I just never understood, like, if he went to Africa, because on his social media, he never really did any Instagram reels, no video or picture montages. Because he player hated when Monique Samuels, from the Real Housewives of Potomac and Love and Marriage DC, that first time she went to Africa, she was still married. And her and Chris Samuels and their 3 kids went to Africa. Monique posted so many pictures and videos. She took us all along on that trip with her. And in one of her posts, Marsau commented, like trying to say like, it's all right. He was player hating because she was so visual and so descriptive. And I think he did that because he didn't post a doggone thing on his Instagram. I didn't see a zebra or any sort of animal, a tiger, nothing, Tarzan, nobody. It wasn't giving, and he doesn't have to post, but my whole point is it's Africa, dude. And Monique, she totally took us along on that trip to Africa. It's amazing. And she travels a lot and she takes you along every single time. If you want a very visually stimulating person to follow on Instagram in terms of content, Monique Samuels, for sure. And, Marsau didn't do any of that. And once the season 4 reunion came, the producers didn't even do a video montage of him in Africa. You mean to tell me he went to Tanzania and he didn't whip out his cell phone and grab some photos and some videos? Why didn't he want to share that? That's like a dream. Some people dream of going to Africa, to the motherland. And like, you don't want to share that with us? It's giving you didn't go. Okay. But I figured this would be a great time to do some throwback videos while Love and Marriage Huntsville is on hiatus for 3 weeks. I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. You all know, if you checked out my short that I uploaded today, as well as on my community tab, I got my locks done, honey, first thing this morning, and I feel fine. And I was posting to some friends in a chat that, when I was a loose head, if I had gotten my silk press or just my hair done, period, I would not have gone to work out, because today I came home, I took off that maxi dress and I put on my sweats and I went to the park and I walked for 55 minutes. The sun was beaming down on me. It felt great. And like when I was a loose head, I would have never done that, because I would have been concerned about sweating out my hair, sweating out my press, and wasting that money. And I would have like avoided the gym and the park for a few days just to kind of get my money's worth out of the silk press. But now that I'm a lockhead, I just feel so much more free. And it's a great feeling. And my locks have just taught me less is indeed more. And I'm not saying that everyone should lock their hair or you must lock your hair. I'm just saying for me, it was a great decision. And yes, I hope you all are having a fantastic Saturday, and I will talk with you all soon. Bye.